happy Friday. You know how annoying it is to have a song stuck in your head that you don't like, played on repeat over and over and over. It's not such a bad thing if it's a song that you actually like, but when it's one that you don't care for, it is the most annoying thing. That has been my experience for the past week. It's a song that I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I'm certainly not going to sing it to you because, first of all, you don't want to hear that, but you also probably wouldn't like it too much if I unintentionally got it stuck in your head also. But this song has been playing over and over, and it's just the most frustrating thing. So, how do you get a song out of your head that you don't want? You play another song. But if you just play another song one time, it's distracting for the moment that the song is playing, and that's great. But as soon as you turn it off, the other song, the one that you don't like, just resurfaces and starts playing again, right? And if you listen to the radio, a whole bunch of different songs, again, it's distracting while it's playing, that's great. But because there are all these different songs, once the radio is off, that same stupid song comes back again. I know you know what I'm talking about. This has happened to you, I'm sure, many times, just like for myself. This is how habits also work. When we have a habit, when it's so well entrenched and we don't like it, without even wanting it to, it just pops up and it surfaces, sometimes at the most inopportune times. And in order to change that habit, what do we have to do? We have to play a new song, start a new habit, do something different. But just doing it one time isn't going to be enough to override the old one. Repetition is obviously key. We have to do it over and over to override what was there before. Each time we do something new, something different, we start to create a new neural pathway in our brain, which is amazing that we have this ability to do that. But when we first do it, that pathway is basically like trying to trudge your way through a very overgrown field. You can barely see the path that you just come through. There's not much of a path, so to speak. Unlike the well-worn habit that you've done over and over for years, is like the highway that you can easily jump onto without stopping and just take off and go. And the new one is this path through a field that's very overgrown and it's barely even visible. So you have to keep going that way over and over to make that pathway bigger and stronger and makes it wide enough eventually for a car to get through, and then you can pave it, and eventually that becomes the highway. And the less you use the old habit, the more it shrinks, which is pretty cool. But again, repetition is necessary for that new habit to turn into a highway eventually and override the old one. One really interesting thing to note though, old habits never go away entirely, as much as we might like them to. It's a good thing when it's something we want to be able to do years into the future. It's where the saying, like riding a bike, comes from. Because once you know how to do it, that pathway is there. And even if it's been 15 years, you can get on a bike and you can pretty much just get up and go. Old habits are like that too. It's not so good if it's something that you don't want to pop up again, but just something to be aware of and keep in mind so that if you do overcome an old habit, just know that old pathway doesn't disappear completely. It may shrink and shrivel down into something really, really small. It's a fairly visible, overgrown path, but it can be reactivated at any time. So sticking to your new path is going to be really important to not allow that old habit, that old path, that old song, if you will, to resurface. So my question for you today is, what song or habit is playing on repeat that you don't really like? And what new song, what new habit are you going to play in its place? I hope you have an amazing weekend. Take care and I'll see you next time.